Greetings, everybody. We are here today with a very exciting resume roast. We haven't done one of these since Randy last month, and this one was a resume that we're really excited about because it is exactly at this intersection that we get very often of people with technology and business skills trying to make the leap from technology to the business side of things. Typically, they're using some tricks on the resume to try and hide and downplay their tech experience because they're concerned about getting typecast. So we'll jump into this in a second. First, just a couple of quick notes. We're going to again try recording this on Periscope. We recorded one previously, which was a pretty interesting success cast, but we've been having some trouble actually moving the video of that from that to YouTube, which is our primary channel where we're hosting this. So we're going to give this another shot. If this doesn't work out well, we might end up having to move from reshooting this. So this might be a rough draft. Hopefully this works great. Then a couple of other quick notes. If you've not been following ResScore jobs lately, definitely go navigate to the site and take a look. In particular, there's actually a great opportunity for you guys to get paid for using ResScore jobs through our Red Balloon program. We have a lot of interesting positions that are available, so if you know anyone with electrical engineering experience in the Philippines, there's a few $1,000s available for you. If you are aware of any jobs around Seattle, which are looking for a VP of Analytics type position, kind of senior level of what we're talking about on this Periscope here, then also talk to us because there's a candidate that's put a $5,000 bounty on his own head. And then a number of other positions in general, a lot of tech positions in San Francisco available. So in general, we like to say that ResScore is the only jobs board that will pay you for using it. That's true. And we also like to say that the Success Cast, the mission here of our various YouTube and Periscope streams, that we want everyone who is paying attention to our channel to be more successful than anyone who is not. So by watching this, congratulations, you are already more successful than if you were watching anything else. So let's talk briefly about this resume roast. Now, it's going to be difficult for you guys to follow if you don't look at the link to the blog post where we have a link to the actual resume. Hi, Peter O.T. You came just in time. We're roasting the resume of someone who unfortunately has decided to remain anonymous. That was a bad choice because ultimately between our YouTube channel, this is going to be seen by a few thousand people, tens of thousands, entirely plausible. So this could have been a very great branding exercise, but for some reason they decided to stay anonymous, so their choice. But we are going to quickly dive in their resume, and I'm just going to briefly show you what it looks like. This is, of course, just the first third of the first page. I don't know how well this is going to show up on the Periscope stream. But, presuming it shows up okay, you probably got a good sense that the resume from first look is gorgeous. It's absolutely beautiful. They used a very nice online template, so if it gets seen in this format, the person looking at it is going to say, this is great. The problem is it's a PDF with columns, so there's not actually a very good chance that they're going to be seeing the PDF version. They're most likely to see a ripped version that's going to look a bit more like this. And again, this might be tough to see, but it essentially looks like they just took all the words, threw them into a blender, and dumped them onto the page. So they're going to look at this more, if it goes through an ATS most likely, and they're going to say this doesn't make any sense. So there's an interesting way with the way that PDFs get parsed. There's actually been a new library that Amazon has released called Textract, which makes it easier to parse PDFs, but generally if they're not using it, it's tough to discern meaning from columns because PDFs just read directly across, which means that if your PDF is columns, there's probably about a 30% chance that they're going to be seeing it through an ATS that isn't using this new Textract library, and it's going to look like gibberish. So this person here, there's maybe a 10% chance that they impress people and stand out because it looks so good. There's actually a really good chance that it's going to look terrible. It's going to look like garbage, and they're just going to throw the resume away before even getting a look at it. So the other thing you might note about this resume, and I'm not going to try and do the screen swapping here, but the other thing you'll probably notice about this resume is that if you just look at the first third of the first page, it's not exactly clear what kind of job this person is looking for. So we know, because we described this, that this is kind of a hybrid technology business person, but if you're just reading it, you're left to guess. The first sentence, which is kind of a sub-headline, objective statement type sentence, describes an international business student who likes to take initiative and seek out new challenges. And it's completely unclear what that means. Anna Moily, welcome. Welcome. We're roasting a resume. You can see the link in the Periscope title to if you want to see the actual text of the resume. This is a person at the intersection of business and technology, and they've put their resume out there, and there's no way to tell what it actually means, what it actually does. So the person says that they are looking to seek out new challenges, but that doesn't mean anything to the hiring manager. They're looking at this saying, we're hiring for developers or we're hiring for salespeople. If you're one of those things, tell us and we'll find a job for you. The analogy we like to say is, if you're hiring a carpenter, do you care that they like to swing a hammer, that they have a lot of opinions about their personal development? No, you just care if they are really good at swinging a hammer. So when this person says they like solving challenges, that's nice, but we don't care what they like to do. We care generally about two buckets. One is, are they going to sell stuff or are they going to code? Now, this person does have some technology experience. They mentioned Python, they mentioned Linux, they have a degree in computer science, computer systems engineering master's degree, so they're probably pretty good coding. But you notice throughout the resume, they're just de-emphasizing all the tech skills. There's a couple projects that make allusion to some data science they did, but you can generally tell, we've seen a lot of these kinds of resumes, that they're trying to position themselves at this hybrid, some technology, some business, de-emphasizing all the technology. And here's where we're going to speak very specifically about people in this boat, the people who have a lot of technical skills, but also maybe they're tired of feeling like a code monkey. They've tired of coding. I've done this myself. I spent so many hours, days, weeks, months, years just grinding on code that eventually your brain turns into spaghetti, just like your code base. So I can speak from experience here, and a lot of the ResScore team actually has a lot of experience at this through the MBA program at MIT, where there's a lot of people who were both very technically savvy, but they thought they had a lot of business skills and were looking to transition out. And we're speaking just specifically to this audience here. If you're just interested in general resume techniques, but this doesn't apply to you, you can feel free to tune out now. But if this applies to you, we definitely, having seen both sides of this fence, we've seen the business side, we've seen the tech side, and we can unequivocally state that it is absolutely important that you just push the tech skills. Just push the tech skills. Forget about the business skills, and write your resume as if you're applying for a coding job. Here's why. The supply demand for coders is completely opposite the supply demand for business people. There's going to be about 5 times as many qualified applicants for any just business-only position as there are for any tech-only position. And you are basically, if you put yourself in the tech lane, you're almost guaranteed to sail through and get a job. If you put yourself in the business lane, you're up against incredibly stiff competition. So go the easy route. Get a foot in the door, get a job at the company. On top of this, the tech jobs are probably going to have a higher pay ceiling. So get yourself in the path that has the possibility of maybe making double the salary you're going to be getting on the biz side. And I mentioned MIT before. This is something that we learned directly at MIT. All these people who came in, about a third had engineering backgrounds. We asked them after they graduate, what's your biggest kind of advice or thoughts about the MBA program? And they said, shoot, I wish I took more computer science classes. It would have been more professionally useful. So by all means, push the tech angle. Push the tech angle. It's so easy to get a job. There's so many terrible coders out there that you don't even need to be good to get a job as a coder. And here's where I could get into potentially some trouble, but I'm going to reveal some secrets. I spent a lot of time in Silicon Valley. I spent about 4 years there before I finally got a chance to escape. And the dirty secret is that most coders at these companies are not very good. I've coded alongside some people who had experience as coders at some of these great companies, and they're not that good. And then on top of that, they're not even spending that much time coding anyway. So I don't know who it is that just joined, but you're here for the meat of this, which is the dirty secret of Silicon Valley, which is that the coders are not very good. They get paid a ton of money, sometimes $250,000, and they're terrible. And they're generally working about 2 hours a day. So if you're a decent coder, here's what you do. You get the job as a tech person. You can put in 1 hour a day of solid coding, and you'll already be up to par. You'll already be doing what everyone else is doing because they're only putting in 2 hours after all the goofing off, the coding, the ping pong, etc. You then, the general median at any company is that you're getting about 4 hours of productive work out of people anyway per day. So you put in 1 hour of coding, keep up, just meet your baseline responsibilities, then spend 3 hours pretending to be the business job you want. So that's mostly schmoozing and brown nosing. That's the other thing about the business side of things. It's all politics. It's just, do the people around you generally like you? Because anyone can do the business skills. There's actually a saying amongst VCs, which is that they would rather invest in a technical CEO of a startup than in a business CEO of a startup. The reason being that the technical person can easily learn business skills, and as they say it, anybody can. They're the easiest thing in the world to learn. It's schmoozing, it's brown nosing, it's executive coaching is a real thing that you can pay for, but it's a lot tougher for a business person to learn how to code. So what happens after a couple of years after they've invested in a startup is the business CEO, generally their skills no longer a fit, the company's scaling, so they just get shoved out. The technical CEO, they understand the product, they understand the vagaries, so when the company scales, maybe their skills aren't relevant, they can bring in the business CEO that's good at scaling, and then they get shuffled to CTO position, and then oftentimes they find their way back. So it's a it's a revolving door if you go on from the technical side. So again, to recap, we are roasting this resume here, who is someone who's trying to get into this kind of master's level internship of both business and technology. And the advice we offer to him and to everybody who's in this position is forget about the business side. Get in the technology side, and it's incredibly easy once you're in on the technology side to then transition in the business side. Because if you are relatively competent in the tech and you speak business, you're not even going to be coding after a little short amount of time. You're going to be the translator between all the people who don't understand the tech and you. So you'll essentially just be graduating yourself into a product manager position within 6 months with the higher salary ceiling. So this is generally all we want to talk about on the resume roast today. Again, check out ResScore Jobs because we have some bounties available if you know people who are looking for electrical engineering jobs in the Philippines, if you know people who are looking for mobile product manager position in New York City, or if you know any just jobs available for VP of Analytics level roles in Seattle, Washington. Those 3 bounties combined could make you just now, for knowing this, about $10,000. And again, this ties back to the mission. All of our video streams, our goal is to make you more successful than anyone who is not listening. I see we're up to 2 people on this stream now, which is great. You too are going to be more successful than anyone else who is not listening to this, so congratulations. Thank you again for your time. If you'd like to have a resume roast, there's links in the comments for how you can submit your resume, as well as all the link to the blog post, and it will explain a lot more. In general, we always love hearing from you, so give us your thoughts and feedback, and thank you very much.